This is the homework video for Tuesday, 5/24/16. Okay, so this first problem is asking you to look at what happens when the base is this number right here, is negative. And so always remember, expand it out. So negative 2 to the second is really negative 2 times negative 2. And if you multiply negative 2 times negative 2, your product is 4. Product means the answer to a multiplication problem. Negative 2 to the third, negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2, and that's going to be negative 8. Negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2 is going to be 16. Negative 2 times itself 5 times is going to be negative 32. Negative 2 times itself 6 times is going to be 64. And negative 2 times itself, 7 times is negative 128. This is what your table should look like. Notice positive, negative, positive, negative, positive, negative. Now let's look for some connections. There's 2 numbers being multiplied together, the product is positive. There's 3 numbers being multiplied together, the product is negative. There's 4 numbers being multiplied together, the product is positive. There's 5 numbers being multiplied together, the product is negative. There's 6 numbers being multiplied together, the product is positive. And there's 7 numbers being multiplied together, the product is negative. So then it's saying what happens if you do negative y times y times y times y times y. Is that negative y to the fifth, or is it the opposite of y to the fifth? The correct answer is it's the opposite of y to the fifth. And the reason why it's not this one is because this one would be if all of these terms had a negative. So when it's in parentheses, when the negative base is in parentheses, it means you're multiplying this number times itself, this negative number times itself this many times. This is actually read the opposite of y to the fifth. So notice how the opposite of y to the fifth is negative y to the fifth. Okay? Okay, so on this one, this is in parentheses, so negative 3 times negative 3 times negative 3 4 times. And in this one, it's not in parentheses, so the negative is going to be outside of the very first one, just like it was up here, because it means the opposite of. So it means the opposite of 3 to the fourth. And I have to do 3 times 3 times 3 times 3, and then take the opposite of that. And this time, it's outside again. So I have to do 3 times 3 times 3 times 3, and then take the opposite of that. Then it says, describe any patterns that you noticed in the table. Now that's why I was having you look at this. When there's 2 numbers multiplied, it's positive. 3 numbers, it's negative. 4 numbers, it's positive. 5 numbers, it's negative. 6 numbers, it's positive. And 7 numbers, it's negative again. There's an even amount. There's an even amount. There's an even amount. Every time there's an even amount of numbers being multiplied together, you get a positive final product. So I said when you multiply negative numbers an even amount of times, the product is positive. If you multiply an odd number of times, the product is negative. Back side of your worksheet, remember, expand it out. So here, they showed you this, and all I'm doing is showing 3 divided by 3 is 1, 3 divided by 3 is 1, 3 divided by 3 is 1, and 3 divided by 3 is 1. I have 1, 2, 3's left, 3 to the third. I have 8 times itself 5 times, and 8 times itself 3 times. I get 8 divided by 8 is 1, 8 divided by 8 is 1, 8 divided by 8 is 1, and 1 times 1 times 1 times 8 times 8 is 8 to the second. Again, expand it out. B times itself 6 times, and B times itself 3 times. B divided by B is 1, B divided by B is 1, B divided by B is 1. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 B's left, B to the fifth power. This one has 5 to the third up here and 5 to the 6th down here. Notice 5 divided by 5 is 1, 5 divided by 5 is 1, and 5 divided by 5 is 1. Now on top, when you do 1 times 1 times 1, you get 1. On the bottom, when you do 5 times 5, you get 5 to the 2nd power. So this is 1 over 5 to the 2nd power. It says the exponent of the single power quotient is the same as the difference between the dividend numerator exponent and the divisor denominator exponent. The word that goes in this blank right here is exponent, denominator exponent. See? Numerator exponent and the divisor exponent. So I didn't write it in, but you need to write it in, exponent. Number 3, they're asking you for a rule when you're dividing. The rule for your dividing is x over a divided by x to the b. Sorry, I said that wrong. I'm going to repeat it. X to the a power divided by x to the b power is equal to x to the a minus b, because you're subtracting the exponents. A minus b, subtracting the exponents. Okay, so here the rule would be to do 9 minus 7, and that's going to give you x to the 2nd. Here the rule would be 7 minus 3, and that's going to give you 2y to the 4th. Okay, that's the end of homework for Tuesday. Have a great night, guys.